Good morning. Good morning, yo. I already know what time it is. What time is it? It's early. That's what the time is. What do you call it? Oh, today's today's date. What's today's date? It's February. I'm assuming it's the 26th. Surely. Friday, 2021. Reporting live from Earth. Feel me? What we call planet Earth. I'm reporting live from planet Earth right now. Streaming all the way to Mars and all the other planets. I know y'all niggas hear me. Do you hear me? You know what I mean? Streaming for y'all. As I'm walking, you know what I mean, above me, it's what we call plants and leaves. Taking it for granted right now, but somewhere in the future, if things keep going the way it's going, we're gonna lose out on these fine things. You feel me? Shit crazy. Anyway, I see that when it comes to me speaking on this thing right here, whatever you want to call it, vlog, or broadcast, or just video facing, you know what I mean? I realize that a lot of people, when they're looking for an excuse, they just do everything in their power so I can speak about them so they can be relevant, so they can do whatever they need to do. So I always gotta check my emotions and know that they're not having any form of influence on what I want to talk about. Because I can see people just trying to take credit for the things that you do. They're trying to be like me so much that they sending people my way, right? You know, people that look the same way, they're sending them my way so I can speak about them so they can be like, I told you that's what he was going to talk about today. Or I told you he was going to do this. Or I told you, trying to say that, oh, I'm having influence or he's predictable, or they want to be some form and somehow, some way saying that the things that I'm saying does not belong to me. So I got to be very careful because God is allowing me to see these things. So I can know what to talk about and what not to talk about. One big thing about it is that I don't want nobody having influence on what I'm talking about. If I speak about it, then that's what I want to talk about. You feel me? And they just don't respect it. You feel me? They don't respect me. They don't respect it. So they just anything that they can do. They trying to steal my images. They want to steal how I walk, talk, and everything else like that. The whole world sees it. The whole world sees it. And yet they doing everything in their power. He took this word. He don't say those words. I could play a video in 1969 that he's using that word consistently. So it's like they're looking for any excuse right now, but we're not gonna give them. This is all the attention that they get. And I honestly could have spoke about a lot of things. I have a lot of topics to speak about, but yeah, I don't have none to speak about. You feel me? That's all. I have a lot. You feel me? None of them is really something that I want to talk about. Honestly, it's like I just want to enjoy my video making. You know what I mean? When I walk about my favorite cars, while I walk about my favorite cars and everything else like that. You feel me? So, about to go to work. I'm happy today's Friday. Know what I mean? You already know what time it is when it's Friday. You like, whew. It's like you looking down the whole week of working and everything else. Know what I mean? That's so. But I'm trying to stay focused at the same time too. You know how shit go. We got 2 more days to Black History Month, so I wanted to talk inspiring. Actually, we're gonna talk about that. Instead of talking about drama and this, that, and third, although it leads to drama, because it seems like Black empowerment. Yeah, we can talk about that actually. Why not? I might call this video Black Empowerment, but yeah, literally, I'm gonna call this video maybe, but it's gonna lead to the topic of the things that I want to talk about. You feel me? I'm choosing real bitches over bad bitches. Do you feel me? I'm choosing real power over imaginary power. Do you feel me? Anyway, look, man. What's the? We're gonna get this topic right. You know what I mean? And we're gonna talk about Black empowerment from Black people's point of view. When I say Black people, I don't talk about all Black people. Because some Black people just don't love themselves. Some of y'all are so desperate for other people to like you, especially whites. You're so desperate to go against your own self. Like they just want a different kind of individual apart from Black people being their friends. So they force their relationship with other people. And it's like, yo, even if it means stepping on somebody else, it's like I'm not fooled by the idea that there are some Black people that I gotta go against, of course. And the reason why some of them have to go against me too, because sometimes they're protecting they self and their own self-interest, because they don't want to make it. They don't want to make it be seen as if, you know. I understand. I understand the whole concept of what's going on, but some of these niggas is just desperate. They're just so desperate. They just so desperate for that whitelist. Like they nigga. There is work hard, get some money. You feel me? After you get the money, go and get some surgery and just become white if you want to. Like there's machines and technologies out there that can make you do that. Why don't you just leave the community altogether? You feel me? Since you're so desperate. But that's a side note within the side. We're gonna talk about Black empowerment. And what I specifically want to touch on Black empowerment is that whenever a Black man like myself speaks about Black empowerment, why is this so offensive to other groups, other race groups? You feel me? When I say other race group, I'm talking about any other group that's not part of Black. Why is this so offensive to y'all when a person like myself or other Black people speak of Black history, Black empowerment, Black excellence? Why is this so offensive to y'all? What is it? What is it, man? I want to know. You feel me? Why does Black empowerment equals terror for you? Like, I think that's a legitimate argument that we need to even dive deep into and see what is the reason why people feel threatened when a person like myself and others speak about Black empowerment. Hmm? Is this something why does it terrorize your mind? You feel me? I used to be like, okay, I'm like they make it feel so, the people who speak about these things, right? Speak about it in such a light that you would think that what they're saying is accurate. Like, let's take, for example, somebody like Farrakhan, who speaks about Black empowerment and everything else like that. And there was a lady in the crowd who was talking about he's so, she was just mentioning so many things that Louis Farrakhan is not, but yet seems like he is because of the way he speaks so aggressively. Because in our mind, we're not used to somebody being that strong with that complexion. We're gonna dive into it. We're gonna dive into it. You feel me? So we watching this, and Louis Farrakhan's on the stage, hearing this lady in the crowd saying these things. The crowd's clapping. He is this, he is that, he is this. I can't recall every word that she said. But I'm watching for the first time. I'm like, yo, she's right, my nigga. Until Louis, this is my first time even coming in contact with such a person of Louis Farrakhan. Of course, I seen Malcolm X and everything else, but Louis Farrakhan is different in the way he approached things too. His aggressive nature. Malcolm X also got aggressive nature, but it's in a calm. It's like they both got like the same kind of style, but Farrakhan is he is different. He's very unapologetically. Malcolm X always did it in a smooth way, kind of way too. Farrakhan was more smooth but straightforward. It's complex, you know what I mean? Both I can't really describe it fully, but the lady was just going on about how no how he decisive. Basically, he's separative in the way he talk and approach. He in the way he talk and let me figure. Seen that nigga. They be setting up roadblocks and everything else like that. They be setting up ways. Look, let me show you. Where is it? I seen that man when I'm walking. I'm looking all the way down. Let me show y'all niggas how my view is. So look at that. I'm walking down, right? I'm looking at least 500 feet in front of me before I approach a certain location, and I already peeped it already. I peeped him a long time ago. Now I just made a turn. Now as soon as I made that turn, they right there trying to set up the same peep. I'm like, yo, stop it, man. I be watching 500 down, even where there's trucks in front of me. I'm tall enough to see over it, so I see what's going on. So if you're setting up something, I can see it. Now you know, don't do it. Don't try to prove me wrong neither by trying to do some other wild shit. They be setting up plays and everything else like that, indicating something to me. I don't care. Let it happen. And we go from there. This is also a topic to black empowerment. The way they be setting shit up against Negroes, they set up a whole thing and you don't know what's going on. Even a witness is a setup. You feel me? Y'all gotta be careful. These niggas know each other somehow, some way. They both have a common interest and they be setting this shit up. They got their own back door room of communication. Feel me? People with same interests. And they be setting this shit up because they got the hate for you. Feel me? Anyway, back to the story of Louis Farrakhan on this old TV show while he was on stage sitting down. He spoke his mind about a specific topic pertaining to black people. You feel me? Basically, in total, what he was saying was black empowerment, black people owning their own business, and remove yourself away from this, that, and the third so you don't have to compromise yourself. Because most of the time, we are compromising ourselves, just working at some other places, the things that we got to do to survive. Feel me? It's amazing. It's like it's like you having a religion of not believing in wearing slippers. But yet this job knows that you have a belief of not wearing slippers and it requires you to wear slippers. So for survival purposes, you have to put on those slippers. But the problem is that it's like you've been doing that job for so long, it becomes second nature to you, right? So what happens is that you forget about your own principle and the things that you stand for, that you forget that you was only wearing the slippers for the job. Now you coming home with those slippers on and you taking it into your home instead of leaving those slippers outside of your home and know that this is where it stopped. But you forgot about yourself now because that's what happens in a society like that. Now I'm paraphrasing, but basically that's how I understood it, that we are doing things for survival purposes, but yet we forgetting our values, our priorities, our principles, our own policies that we operate on, our spirituality. We forgot that we don't do these things. We was only doing it for survival purpose. Now we've become these things that we've taken into our homes and it's affecting everything that is going on in our life and we forgot. It became second nature to us that we forgot. And when somebody brings it up, well, you know, we make all kinds of excuses because we do not want to face ourselves and everything else like that. Anyway, so the lady was basically saying, niggas a stalker. Look at the same person who drove around. Man, why am I even giving them attention? Then I'm gonna have some individuals who rides on a cop's car on a motorcycle, who's a cop, then they gonna hate me. What? They're gonna be a club of them, just driving around now, not mad at me, because I point out something that's obvious. Anyway, this how I end up creating people to hate me, because as soon as I point it out, it'd be individuals who in the same position that feel like mad. Now they mad and now they want to come at me, and I'm like, okay, God, how long is this shit gonna last? It's gonna be another group. Hurry up and do what you need to do. Another group. Hurry up. Feel me? But anyway, I deviated. I ain't deviate. I'm abbreviating. Anyway, look, man. So the lady was started. So basically, that's what Louis Farrakhan was basically saying. That he want black empowerment. He doesn't want us to really, for us to lose who we are, depending on somebody else, and we've lost everything because we forgot that. Paraphrasing that we don't wear slippers. Like I'm just saying, it doesn't really necessarily have to do with slippers. But if I have to explain that fact to you, then that means you just don't get it, and you just need to, um, listen to it again and let it sit in there. Hopefully you get it. Maybe it was too simple for you to get it, or maybe it was too slow for you to get it. So let somebody else who's intelligent enough to catch slow thinking people like myself, so they can explain it to you. Anyway, so basically that's what Louis Farrakhan was saying. Like, look, we need to be self-dependent. We don't have to lose anything about ourselves to be self-dependent. You feel me? This, that, and the third. The lady heard something totally different. This is basically what I try to break it down to the people who be judging me on things that I said and I know I ain't say. The lady heard something told, he's terrorizing, he's divisive. Like basically person, I can't even pronounce that word that good, so forgive me. The person who is a person who separated, basically want to separate people one against another. She said, yo, your language is troubling. I mean, they heard all these things, so the mic came back to Louis Farrakhan. Even the mic didn't even come back to Louis Farrakhan. That was a lie. The host of the show had to check the lady. He's like, yo, he did not say that. that's, that's what the guy said. He did not say that. He said da 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 da. And he said the rest of you guys were clapping. That's like, and I'm like, this nigga is a real one. At least he point out the obvious. And I'm like, oh. Because when the lady was talking, I even started forgetting what Louis Farrakhan said in the first place. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Then I'm like, okay. Like it was confusing me because sometimes we're so quick to forget sometimes. And it's so, I don't know why we are so attracted to wanting to, we believe somebody's doing something bad. We want to, if somebody bring forth new ideas, we questionable. We scared of change. Because we are comfort creatures, you feel me? So anything that requires any form of change in direction, we like no. Then we find reasons not to make that change happen. You feel me? So when she started saying that and being this, she was being decisive. Ah, fuck, I don't know the word. There's a word right there on my tongue. I just can't. She was just trying to be separated. You feel me? She was the one being there. Everything she accused Louis Farrakhan of doing, she was the one that was doing it. It's amazing how we accuse other people of doing things, and in actuality, you actually describing yourself. It's amazing. Sometimes I gotta catch myself. When I be describing people and how they behave and everything else, that's the reason why I know how to describe these people, because I have seen somebody doing it, or once upon a time I am that person, I'm not that person anymore. So if you describe anybody or you talking down upon somebody, you have had to had experience with that person, with that behavior, or you have had to have came in contact with that kind of behavior. You understand? That's what they always say. If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say it at all. Feel me? Because if you talk down on somebody, guess what happens? You end up exposing yourself. Because how do you know so much about? You cannot really speak on things that you do not know. So that means that you either A, or you used to be A, or you know somebody who overcame it. You feel me? It is what it is. But I want to talk about black empowerment. I ain't lose focus on that. And it's hot as fuck out here. It is fucking hot. I gotta take off my jacket for this shit. Cause I'm black, man. Fuck. Talk about black empowerment. You know, black people absorb more light. We do. The color black absorb more energy. That's why That's why everything in life is created with that color. Cause you needed something of like what can I call it? A generator or something in a sponge, something that can absorb a lot of sunlight, which is energy basically. You feel me? You needed something that can be in the middle. You needed something as a nucleus that can absorb and take in a lot of energy for it to work. You feel me? So what better thing than that than the color black itself or anything that is dark in nature? That's why carbon was the perfect mechanism for creation itself. Because if light gives life, light gives life, then you need something that can literally have enough power to suck in this force of energy. And guess what it is? It's black. Like the blackest of all, the blacker you are, the more powerful you are. It's always based on your mind, your nutriments, and your environment. You feel me? If you if you eat right, if you got a healthy body, right, and light hits your skin, your biggest organ, then you more likely to have more vitamin D. You wouldn't be vitamin D deficiency if you have a lot of sunlight. Where you going, bitch? Stupid hoe. Bitch is stupid. They want to get smacked today, I see. They're trying everything for me to have a comment. Everybody, side note, put this shit back cool. Because I don't know how to hold it. Everybody think I be aggressive towards women. That's not true. Some of these girls are out of control. They have to look at how the men operate around me, and then I have to look at how they operate around me. You see, girls are not critical. They don't think logically, unfortunately, right? You have to understand these niggas put on a lot of front, man. They do. They put on a lot of front. They're not coming at me directly as aggressive as these females coming up to me. If I speak to a man, I'll be like, yo, da da da, and that's it. And that's that. We just let it go. But these girls really, they seen the behavior that's going on. You feel me? So they assuming this is what it is, and they being aggressive in their nature, and they're doing fuckery. And I'm like, look, man. And I'm like, look, man. You can do all these things if you want, man. But if I catch you, I'm gonna beat you up like a nigga. You feel me? I don't care if you're a tranny, if you're a real girl or not. Like I have the right to defend myself, type shit like that. So I'm just letting it know. You feel me? But I have enough patience to have resistance. I resist a lot. You feel me? But some of these girls is crazy. Like yesterday, some girl approached my station and shit like that. I know she was a trainee. You feel me? You're not gonna fool me with that bullshit y'all niggas be doing. You've been a trainee since day one. I know that for a fact. I treat you the way you want to be treated. You feel me? I try not to be disrespectful as you has been disrespectful to me and everything else like that. But I don't like the gimmicks that people play. They do shit behind your back. And it's like, because they see that you don't see it, they expect you to be like, but what information are you going on? But he doesn't know. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to be bothered by y'all. You niggas is disgusting to me. You feel me? So if a bitch is out of line, I treat her the way she's out of line. That's that. I'm not interested in you if you act like that. Plain and simple. I'm not going to entertain you. I'm not going to entertain you in any form or shape, nigga. I'm not even going to tell you you look pretty. I'm not going to give you no vindicate. How you pronounce the word? I'm not going to glorify you in any form or shape. Because your behavior is a disgusting behavior. So why will I even look at you and be like, damn, she bad? Or no, nigga, I'm disgusted by your behavior. It doesn't matter how good you look. I don't want you at all. You feel me? Like, there's a few females like that. I'm like, yo, you bitch, like, go sit somewhere. You dirty to me. Because your behavior is so disgusting. It doesn't matter how pretty. You can be the queen of Sheba. And if you act like that, nigga, that shit is disgusting. I can't look past that. It's a flaw to me. Like, these bitch, fuck out of here. Any bitch can look that good if they go to the right salon and put makeup on and everything. I'm talking about real bitches. We ain't even talking about trannies right now. And the trannies is like, you lost from the start because you was a tranny and you have a bad behavior and you want me to still, in some form of shape, what? Vindicate you? Come on, man. Stop playing. Like, y'all niggas is not even Like behavior, attitude, character, and integrity is the things that you do behind people's back is what I respect the most. Man, listen, man. I already went through that ordeal. I cannot have you sleep next to me and have me worrying about what the fuck you gonna do to me. Well, nah, I can't do that. You feel me? Like I already went through that ordeal. That's not a comfortable feeling. Most of you, I don't want that kind of shit around me. You feel me? So I'm not even going to entertain that kind of behavior. So if you a bitch and I'm acting and I'm like yo, like I'm acting a little offish to you, it is what it is. I don't want to entertain you in any form or shape because your behavior is disgusting. I put you in the same category as a dirty nigga. Like fuck out of here. I don't have to be your friend, nigga. Like you feel me? Like I'm sorry about that. But anyway, back to the story that I keep skipping. I don't even know what part I was. But long story short, people see what they want to see when it comes to black empowerment. You feel me? They are petrified by the idea of black empowerment. They just can't compute it. Like it's a program in their mind that tells them that it is wrong. They talk about the government this, government that, but I feel like it's individuals who do not want to see that. They feel like black empowerment is a downward spiral for their development in some kind of weird way. I just don't understand how they see that. Every time people talk about black empowerment, some people get intimidated. They be like, they hear things like you can say a whole nother word and they'll hear something else. If you have black people who do not want other black people to have reparation. You feel me? And I'm like, is it reparation that is everything I'm talking about has to do with black empowerment? Because reparation also is a black empowerment topic. When people bring it up, it's like, no, even some black people be like, black people do not need reparation. Once upon a time, I was that person too. I'm like, the United States cannot afford to pay African Americans. I swear, me and my brother used to argue about this. Me and my brother and his girl. And I was on the other side. I know she's African American. So my brother gravitated more to her because he got to stay on wifey side. And I'm like, yo, that shit. I'm like, yo, there's no way they can pay these niggas back. When I speak from experience. You feel me? I speak about things that I know. I've been on the other side of the argument, and I had legitimate good. I'm like, there's no way African Americans should get paid. That's like the United States can't even afford to pay these people back. I'm like, and I'm looking at back then. I'm looking at the estimation of it. I'm like, they don't even have the money to pay these people back. The United States, even up to now, still don't have the money to pay these people back. Like, in order for the United States to pay the African American, it has to literally offer up the country. Like, the whole country has to be offered up to this 13% group, and still wouldn't be enough. You have to understand that the money that's owed to the African American is also the money that build other nations all around the world. I'm talking about Israel, Egypt. I'm talking about China. All these countries that just started popping up out of nowhere fast and everything else like that. This is an influence from the United States money, and those money belongs to the African American. So it is impossible for the United States of America. I don't give a fuck how many checks they cash. That money is no good anyway. Everybody know that. If you can print that much money, come on, let's be for real. Like, you feel me? Look, man, we spending money that we do not have. You have to understand how the money works in the United States. We spending our money is backed by our labor. You feel me? That's why they always say the next generation has to pay for this money, all the money that we spending. They fucking right, cause it's backed by labor. So which meaning we spending money that our future kids, our future generations has not worked for yet. In turn, we making them a slave by all the money that we spending right now. Cause they have to put in the work for that money to come up. Cause now we using all these metals and everything else like that. We buying this, we buying clothes, and all these other countries. We gonna be in more debt to them because we are actually spending money, which is backed by our labor force that people haven't even put in the work in for yet. You feel me? We don't spend our own money. We don't have no more of our money of our generation. Now we spending future generations. We spending kids that is not even here yet. You feel me? That's how the money system works. Now I mean, in places like my country, Ghana, right? Ghana money is backed by its natural resource, which is gold or silver or diamond and everything else like that. That is different. That's totally unless we lose all of our diamonds and our then we'll be in some form of a big trouble. But the United States is like, they print the money. The world currency is literally based on the dollar, honestly. You don't even think about the euro no more. So they print the money, and guess what? They make the rules so they can afford to get away with these kind of bullshit. They got friends all over the world, so they're making the rules as they go along. But in actuality, if it was any other country, they would have went to their door, knock on their door, and just drag them niggas out type shit like that. Start shooting niggas type shit. It would have been devastating. You feel me? And that's just the truth, my nigga. But where was I at with that topic? Yeah, I was. Me and my brother and his girl was arguing about this. I'm like, there's no way they can pay African American back. You feel me? My brother was suggesting make it like a monthly payment. I'm like, maybe yeah. Now I'm thinking about it, that would make sense because that's what we do to Israel. We give Israel money for reparation that we was not responsible for. We using our taxpayers' money to pay countries, Israel, Egypt, countries all over the world. We paying these particular group of people money for stuff that we are not responsible for. It's like we taking an initiative to do good and yet starving our own kids. You feel me? That shit don't even make sense to me. But anyway, let's continue to do the good work. Anyway, so this is but back then I really thought it was incapable. But my thoughts changed when first it changed as the information came in. Remember, Barack Obama wrote a stimulus check for like trillion, like a lot of money. Then President Bush. First it was President Bush who wrote all that money for that war. Bomb. Then Barack Obama came in, wrote another check for the war. I mean, for to repair the economy. Bomb. Save the big banks and everything else like that. All right, cool. Bomb. Now President Trump came in, wrote another check. Biden's gonna come in and write another check. Overall, we spend probably like close to between those three presidents. If I did the math right, we are spending close to like 6 trillion in less than 20 years. And you telling me that we African Americans have been on this country? No, not we. African Americans. I always try to include myself. I'm a first generation American. I cannot consider myself an African American yet. It is not fair to the real people that have been here for almost 500 years. So you're trying to tell me people that have been oppressed, neglected, systematically. You feel me? You trying to tell me within that span of a time you couldn't come up with that money, but in that short period of time, look at how much money you spent for some damn economy. And according to your own words, you are even going against what you stand and preach for. You feel me? Because you have to think about it. They saved the big companies that was going out of business. Why would you do that? This is what is it called? It's an entrepreneur. You feel me? It's an enterprise. One company goes up, they fall. It gives the other companies the opportunity to come up. But if you keep saving the big companies up top, and guess what the big companies are doing? They're destroying the little companies. It's like, why would you save a company that's going out of business? You feel me? So the Barack Obama whole ordeal, I didn't understand that the contract of it all. I just didn't understand it because you do not save a company that's already going down already. You don't. It never happened in the history of America, to my knowing. I gotta do more research on that. But it has not happened since Barack Obama did that. Instead of saving, let's save the big companies. What about the little companies? And right now, guess what they're doing? They're saving the big companies too. Stop it. They're saving the big companies too right now and leaving a mom and pop store. What's happening right now? And we all know 90% of the United States business is based on small business, mom and pop stores. So we saving all these small 1% companies with our taxpayers' money, and we letting the mom and pop store die. If you're gonna save business, then save all businesses. Then give stimulus check to the small business owners too, but they don't do that. So my as the information started coming in, and I started learning more about that. I'm like, yeah, they owe these niggas money. They. I don't give a fuck if they can pay. Then let the United States government be in slavery and let them work for us then, because that's the only way they can pay us back. You feel me? You will have to go scrub something for you. Like, you feel me? That's what's gonna happen because you have decided the reason why they don't want to pay African American reparation because they do not want to take to them what they did to the African slaves and the African American ancestors was legitimate. For somebody who does not acknowledge through payment, you have to, like, you feel me? The United States haven't served no prison sentence. It wasn't held accountable. You feel me? You have individuals that came out that said what we did to the African American was wrong and everything else like that. But the United States government hasn't really come out. The only way the United States government has to come out and say something, it has to be through reparation. Because there's no other languages that a government speaks but just what? Currency and business. So they can use all the words that they want. They can pick individuals. It's good. They can pick individuals. They can pick whoever that they want. You can speak all you want, but we know the language that you speak. You speak economics. You a government. You a company. You speak write checks. That's what you speak. We want to hear your language, my G. I want like let's stop all the bullshit. I know what's going on already. So as my mind evolved, I'm like, yeah, man, they owe y'all niggas, but god damn, the only way the United States government can pay you guys back, only way, maybe not only the only way, they have to set up a payment plan, of course. You have to give up land, of course, like, like the land even being given up, it's not gonna be enough because the country belongs to them. Because I mean, free labor for that long, feel me? The we ought to sue. I said we. Look at me again, involving myself. There's nothing wrong with that. They ought to sue them. Like, put them, like, go to the war court. You feel me? And sue the United States government for what they have done. And that's why they wait 50, 60 years to bring out new information. Like the Black Messiah, the movie, I gotta see it. You feel me? That's why assassination plots against this person and this person. You literally plotting to kill these people of every time they have a revolution, or every time they have a uptick in the way they think. Because I mean, for so long, African Americans could not read because it was deemed illegal or a crime for them to have a book or be able to read. So it was like you systematically was trying to dumb them down and make them a cattle so they can be human cattle for your beneficial. You feel me? But now that they're waking up and everything else like that, you don't like it. And now they asking for reparation. And guess what happened when they started asking for reparation back in the days? They opened the border and brought more people in, lookalikes, like myself and others, just to confuse why these people have their reparation. Well, our countries have their reparation. Of course we did. We was left in charge to rule our own people. So if somebody left you in charge to rule your own people, how dare you come here and tell African Americans that they can't? Nigga, you was oppressed by your own people. Like, what are we talking about? African American was not oppressed by his own people. It was oppressed by a different group of people. So they have a unique difference in their arguments. It cannot be compared to any group around the world. But yet different groups come here and take it personal when the African American is asking for reparation. You couldn't even ask your own people who oppress you. It's amazing. I think it's more embarrassing to be governed by your own people and have your own people oppress you. That's self-hate. You feel me? African American has a unique situation where they were being oppressed by the Caucasian or the European whites that has been here as long as they have been here. If anything, some are saying that we've been here longer because of the Native Americans which is starting to make sense because when you take a look at the the reason why slavery even took place in the first place, it was because of the cover up of history. But that's another topic. The reason why I believe that, you know what I mean, because I need more research on that. The reason why I believe that is because when you take a look at the slave trade, most of the slaves came from West Africa, and we know that there were great empires in West Africa. You feel me? We know that for a fact. We know about the Omax that went into South America and everything else like that. We know that the Egyptian pharaoh and them bury themselves with boats and everything else like that. I know I've touched on these topics, but I'm gonna go into depth more. I've been doing my research. We know all these things. We know for a fact the Africans were traveling around the world for a long time. We know for a fact, like they was traveling around the world, like, and we know that during the Ice Age, after the Ice Age was over and almost all civilization were wiped out, it was a particular group of people who started traveling around the world. They was like the bringers of light. You feel me? I guess they had different names for them, but we know that they came from the West African region. Because I think if you look at the continents, Africa, the continent itself, sits up high than any other continent. I'll have to do more research on that. So if even there was a flood, most of the flood would definitely occupy the Americans. It would definitely occupy half of Asia, but Africa, most of Africa will sit up top. It's more like a high mountain. So we know for a fact that they were the ones who were going around bringing the new knowledge. That's why when you see some of these people on Egyptian pyramids and everything else like that, Osiris, I think sometimes they show him holding a bag. So a bag is more like having good information or cookies, something to feed your soul type of shit like that. And we know those people, most of the people who left North Africa, where Egypt is at, went down the Sahara Desert and went into West Africa. You feel me? And that's my people, by the way. I have to let that be known. So I'm not saying I'm a former Egyptian or anything else like that, but I'm just saying I could be something special. Anyway, but every time, let me get back to the story. I don't want to talk about anything. Let me just get back to the beginning of the story. But every time, like right now, I'm speaking about black empowerment, black history, and everything else. They make it seem like, oh, it's not proven. Well, I'm not going to wait for the government to prove it. You feel me? I'm doing my own research. Until they acknowledge it, they never gonna acknowledge it. You feel me? For them to acknowledge it, would be like, okay, yeah, yeah, all right, these people, yeah, y'all knew that already. You feel me? The government knows these secrets already. That's why they hard on saying people. Were you a special individual and they don't want to pay you what you own? They treat you as if you are not that person that you're supposed to be. I know these people, they already mad. Every time you start talking about black empowerment, all they do is make threats. You feel me? They treat you. This is how they treat you, man. It's sad, man. This is what happens when we speak about black empowerment. It's offensive to them. It is offensive to them. They just can't. They feel like black empowerment is an insult to their existence. They feel intimidated. It's like for black to be empowered, they feel like that means that they have to give up certain rights. But yet they don't see that they like to hold on to the excuse that, oh, black people are lazy and black people don't want nothing for themselves and this, that, and the third. But once black people start speaking about black empowerment, then they feel intimidated. You can't be a hypocrite on both ends. If black people talking about black empowerment and everything else, why do you feel intimidated and thinking that somebody's trying to take something away from you? Anybody trying to take nothing away from you? Let's, you know what? I want to challenge the United States government to do an estimation to see how much money they really owe the African American. And when they see that estimation, then these people will get to see that there's no intimidation when it comes to black empowerment. You literally are in black empowerment. Like, think about it. Like, how can you be intimidated by by black people talk by a person like myself speaking in favor of black empowerment, and yet you are benefiting off black empowerment? Let's be for real. Like, think about it. And people like myself, like, nah, I mean, I'm not trying to say people like myself who is African and everything else like that. My country, uniquely wasn't oppressing its own people. We are very peaceful. But there's other places around the world who had their own people oppress them. That's why there's so many people that come from different countries that come here because they wasn't having peace in their land, so they had to come to another land. But I have acknowledged I didn't even, honestly speaking, my country was good enough, like many other countries, where it was like it was civilized, but it wasn't enough financial growth or potential that was on that land back then. So that's why we came here for those reasons. Some people came here because they were being oppressed. Some people came here because their government was treating them a certain way. So we all came here for different causes, and the answer was in America, right? So if the answer was in America and the people of this land who cultivate the land, who build the buildings, who made things very nice and everything else like that, but yet we're being oppressed, you feel me? They was being denied just civil rights and everything. Everything that you said you went through in your country, they went through 10 times more. Sign said stop. I will stop. You seen it in the background. And I seen it, I'm like, I'm gonna stop. That's a calling. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you think about it, it's like, all right, cool. I need to be in position where I should fight for these people for giving me the opportunity to have came here. That's true black empowerment. Is to empower the blacks that have already been here already, knowing that anything that is good for them will be good for me. If it's great for them, it will be great for me. Cause look at how it already worked out already. Cause because of civil rights and the movement and everything else like that. I mean, it makes so much sense. I like it's not. It doesn't take rocket scientists to figure this shit out. You feel me? But some people feel like, yo, and I got the mask around my face because when you enter into a premises, sometimes they tell you gotta cover your mouth now, so you can't. It can't even. But yeah, people can smoke cigarette without covering their mouth. But if you just regularly walk into the building, you gotta cover your mouth, which I don't think that makes sense. But anyway, if I can, I gotta talk on the phone. You can't talk on the phone. When you talk on the phone, you still gotta cover your mouth. But when you smoke a cigarette or you drinking or eating, they tell you it's okay. I guess because of the talking and everything, the travel distance of it. But truthfully, you don't need a mask if you stay 6 feet away from each other. You feel me? Even when you have a mask, all you need is really like 3 feet away. But that's another story. We getting away from black empowerment. You feel me? But I didn't want to talk about what black people like black empowerment and what the excellent things of the black bank and all the things that excellent people are talking doing right now. I'm just talking about the issue of people having when we see these things are holding African Americans back. You feel me? If people believe as much as we believe, guess what? The process move a little further. You feel me? But we are being held back by people that look just like us, even African Americans. There was a governor or whatever he is, a former football player who said African Americans didn't need reparation. It's like the selfishness of that individual because he's well off. He said, my nigga, that shit ain't gonna last. Man, are you dumb or stupid, nigga? Just because you well off right now, you think that wealth is gonna last you through, it's gonna last your kids when you not here? You don't know? Come on, man. We don't seen people who were wealthy in the days and left a lot of money for their kids and their kids blew it or they was robbed of it through court papers and everything else like that. You feel me? You have to understand some of these government and these institutions in the government are wicked and they will do everything in their power to rob us of our wealth. They do not want to see people like people with your complexion doing good. You feel me? It doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the stereotype that they place upon us. You feel me? So that shit gotta go. You feel me? Even when you have that much money, they still don't respect you as a man. They look down upon you because envy and jealousy. I hate when my socks. This socks right here is baggy. You know, it's one of them baggy ass socks. I hate that shit. I hate that shit, bro. It's like every time. As soon as I'm walking, the bagginess of it, it goes underneath. Man, I like the material of it, and that's why I keep wearing it. But it becomes a problem every time. I gotta pull my socks. I don't like that because when I start taking off my shoes, then when you have people battling against you and they competing against you secretly, now you taking off your shoes. They like something is wrong with his feet. And it's like I just fixed my socks, bro. Like you feel me? My socks is hella baggy right now, and they all start looking at your feet like, and I'm like, I see like like it's like now you giving them, I'm giving them inspiration just by fixing the socks. You feel me? So like I don't want to give these niggas anything to work on. But back to Black Empowerment. How long I've been going? 50 minutes. God damn. I gotta go in. Anyway, I guess this topic is very interesting and I like it, I guess. But truth be told, man, look, don't get intimidated when African Americans speak about black empowerment, because in turn they're also speaking for you. They're also speaking for white Americans. They're also speaking for black African Americans. They're also speaking for Spanish American. They're also speaking for the Native American. They're speaking for the Asians American. Is there any other group I missed? Because Asian covers all the way down to India. So they're speaking for all your all those kind of Americans too. And Asians are American, contrary to the attacks that's been going on lately. And it's not really, the guy said it best. It's not a problem between Asians and African Americans. The problem is the government painting this picture to make it seem like Asians are not American because they feel like they got the whole Asia. And truth of the matter, if you're an Asian born in America, guess what? You are an American. No, I mean, contrary to the belief, just because you look Asian doesn't mean that you from Asia. So there's some Asians who haven't been in Asia, and there's some Asians that have been in Asia, but they're American born, so they're still American. It is what it is. Like you can't be making up rules and try to switch it up midway because a particular group of people you don't like, or because they're too smart for for your for, for your liking, and you don't like competition like that. You feel me? And that's what's going on. It's jealousy, a whole lot of jealousy. But black empowerment should not scare anybody. It's a good thing. It benefits all. They're the only group of people that they can fight for you and they'll benefit you. And they ought to start this. Everybody, not just the United States government. Everybody that is here right now that has made any form of money that was not originally from this country, if you could say, my great grandmother came here with $1 and now we are this and that, then guess what? You owe the African American because you have benefit of their backs. So every individual, including my own, owes the African American reparation. And that's the end of my topic. It's true. We all do owe them reparation. We do, but I can't even lie. All right,